Welcome to this episode of Marvel Avengers Alliance here on YouTube. Today, this episode has a background soundtrack of Final Fantasy VII FF, and the reason why it's FF, as you can see from the title, is Can We Make Thing Great Again? Which means we're going to be using the Fantastic Four, Final Fantasy FF, lots of Fs all over the place. So, the reason why this team came about is a couple months ago, there is a agent who does an audio segment on the From the Hellcarrier cast named Agent AniDoe. Our introduction to Agent AniDoe, or at least my introduction to him, was a build for Thing. Basically, AniDoe likes to go and take in the dustbin heroes, pull them out of the dustbin, clean them off, and see if they could be viable again. And at the time, I admit, I didn't really listen to the segment because it was Thing. I mean, I may have listened to it at the time, but at this point, I kind of really don't remember what the build was. But on today's From the Hellcarrier cast, a discussion came up about Elektra being the worst hero. I was joking with AniDoe, and I said, no, actually, I think Thing is the worst. He's like, dude, Thing's not bad at all, trust me. So I said, alright, I'm going to go ahead and try out Thing again, and team him up with Invisible Woman for a little bit of a boost, and slap a couple things his way to see if it could work out. Now, we have some options that are available here that were not available at the time AniDoe had done a segment, namely the Tactician Flight Suit, and some ISOs that I'm going to be using on Thing. So first thing I'll do, no pun intended, is show you what Invisible Woman is running, and then we will look at Thing, and then we'll try him out in the simulator here, and then we will shift over to PvP. So, of course, air pressure seems a given. PKB build for her. And then individual AISOs, increased chance to crit because this is deadly crits. Force field is grace. Force volley is locked on. Force cage is burdening. So people get straining. You could also do vampiric. I would not do any of the long cooldown ones like despair, manipulated. Thing is running fleet feet. Although I don't think fleet feet is really going to work out. I think honestly the elite ISO would be the way to go. He doesn't seem to get any extra attacks like I was hoping. We'll test it out so you can see the failure, and then we may need to readjust it. So Clobbering Time is running Mauling, Stonewall is running Grace, Fault Line is running Collapsing, and there is a reason for that. If people are hobbled, he can see them and tank better. And Gizmo Sandwich has Bursting in case I have to get through a Psyche Operator shield. The agent, as we harken back to the old Kingfisher video of Thing is invincible in PvP with him and Bbolt, I'm running the Jade Prism, but this time it's the free action one, the Lamp, the Cube, the Weather Control Device, and the Scroll of Runemerald. This is highly subject to change, as the Lunacy would also be very, very good for him, and possibly even the Sextant, or another offensive cleanse like the Scroll of Angelob, the SOA, Baloney Scroll. So as you can see, the hit points of the Fantastic Four are somewhat comparable to the Agent. We'll do Force Field, which of course protects everybody, and we're now immune to debuffs until it's cleansed. Now, he doesn't have Stonewall up, so nothing happened. Activate the Bruiser benefit. Now, you'll see that he'll tank this here, but he really only gets the one turn, not two. So I'm thinking Fleet Feet really might not work. However, There is another very, very good ISO for him, and that's Viscous. What Viscous does is it says that melee people who attack this target get slowed applied to them. He exploits slowed over here. But, you know, it says it's not 25% for slowed to go out, it's guaranteed. And with the extra turns, it's pretty easy to maintain a lot of slowed on people. But for some reason, he didn't counterattack even though this guy was fumbling. And that's a pretty strong hit. Now, he hasn't even been prismed yet. If we prism him, he's not going to lose his buffs. And his defense and attack are just going to increase like crazy. Now, the reason why I'm running the mech suit is not only is it an extra life for the agent, but when we're in it, because of Gearhead, all my buff abilities turn into quick actions. So Thing kind of becomes a monster at this point, but you have to balance how you want to use your prism or you want to use the suit. If you want continued prism usage, you need to stay out. If you want to make his tanking a quick action, get in the suit. So you have to kind of decide. And by the way, don't underestimate Invisible Woman's damage on her level 1. It's very strong when she crits. So this is now permanently a quick action while I'm in the suit. So because we know he's flanked already, if the person was available to be debuffed, I could try for the stun, and then follow up and immediately reapply the flank. And again, you know, because of the fumbling, there you go. So some variants of this may include the Sextant, it may include the Lunacy, so that he tanks even subtle actions. I'm going to go ahead and we'll try these guys in PvP. I would imagine the Elite ISO is going to give Thing a bit of an issue, but he does have a ranged ability, so it's possible it may work out. And it looks like my gear is pretty much in place except for the Lunacy over here. I think the Prism is pretty much key, and the good thing is you can get the Prism fairly easily. It shows up in the daily roulettes. But honestly, I think the decision-making behind going into the suit or continuing to use the Prism is going to be a tough call. I think one of the best ways you can make that call is if you think there are any more offensive cleanses on the enemy team. So if they burnt the Blackest Void and Cloak and Daggers burnt her level 2, you may feel safer going in the suit. If you think there still might be a Blackest Void or something like Cloak and Daggers level 2, you may want to hold off and just keep protecting him until he's, you know, kind of beefy, and then get in the suit. So it looks like I don't have to do too much changing over here. Everything I want is in place. And you may say, well, what's going to happen with FISA teams? Well, the thing is, Thing really doesn't go on debuffs that much. I mean, sure, if he could set up the slowed and the fumbling, it would be great. But he goes more on his own buffs than he does on enemy debuffs, which is pretty good. Of course, if you wanted to force cage somebody on Invisible Woman, you have to deal with that, but, you know, that's what the cube is there for. I think I passed her already. Did I pass her? Yeah, she's on the first page. So I haven't done this in PvP yet. It may be an abject failure, but we'll see. I was running it with the Doc Ock simulator instead of what I like to call the Sinulator. And that's because Sin is a blaster and she does knife right through him. So that kind of gives an unfair setup for Thing, because you don't see blasters too much in PvP. Mostly bruisers, cloak and dagger, Fiza. Alright, so we have a common meta team over here. She leads with bright blades right on my agent, which is typical because he's a tactician. First thing I will do is set that up. Triage has not gone out yet, so there's pretty much nothing that I want to do offensively here. I need to hold the Blackest Void until Triage goes out. So I'm just going to stay put. No sense using Runamaroth or anything else. This is where things are going to get interesting now. So, King is going to Stonewall. It's going to replenish our stamina. She's not going to do anything offensive. It's usually Triage. No sense trying to force cage anybody. Now, of course, that goes right by Thing because it's stealthy. Can't do anything about that right now. That is a little bit of a negative. This team, because I don't have the Generalist Flight Suit in, I can't get rid of that. And unfortunately, they're not doing anything particularly offensive. But I can do this. And lock her out. This might be a somewhat decent... this could be a decent defensive team. Except for the fact that you don't necessarily know that the Prism is going to wind up constantly going on Thing. My snappy service off of Big Boss is not working very well. Unfortunately, Thing is not getting attacked, so he's not getting his setup at all for this. Well, that's kind of ridiculous. See, now, I would do something from the weather control device, absolutely, if I could, just to get that channel off. But Cloak and Dagger is, of course, going to counter it because it's a tack suit, so... that figures. But Thing is actually maintaining his buffs because of the Prism. Be really nice if he could just get attacked in here. He's not getting going, basically. But, I mean, look at Invisible Woman's damage over there. Believe it or not, a long battle does kind of benefit the Fantastic Four because their passive kicks in. So I think it's time for the suit at this point. With the Purge and the Doom going off. And we gotta get Thing and Invisible Woman going over here. So now this shield is going to be a quick action. And I could attack Fiza, but I want to lock down Cloak and Dagger, which may not happen because of Triage. Keep protected because of the Deb. Mild Metaphysical Rifle hit. I've certainly seen worse. With the exception of Invisible Woman being a little low, this isn't super bad. That's kind of bad. Yep, not exactly too thrilled with this right here in this state. However, that was a pretty good hit. Thing is at full health, though. The idea is, when you're not dealing with Triage, for him to get people hobbled and fumbling, is he just sits there and tanks and counters and sets up the flank and everything. I am going to disadvantage Cloak and Dagger. That'll help out. Of course it'll miss, though. So it's not gonna help out. And the Brain Dead Rifle comes in. Out of suit juice. Surprised that walked right by Thing. That shouldn't have. Oh, that's because it's psychic energy. Invisible Woman's doing decent enough damage, but it's so ridiculously slow. Not too fond of it in the current meta, and yeah, then that happens. Think you pretty much need... I'm just gonna suicide into the Cloak and Dagger here. I think you pretty much need more offensive cleanses to get this going. And with Cloak and Dagger, psychic attacks and everything, they're gonna walk by Thing. So I'm gonna try something a little bit different here. We're gonna keep the cube. Take out the Scroll of Rune of Marath, which is a little bit too awkward in that setup. Bring in the Lunacy. And take out the Weather Control device. Bring in our Golden Sextant, which I have yet to use in PvP, and see how this works out. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that there is something that works for him. Because, you know, on paper, the theory works. The Prism buffs up his defense, he gets the extra turns, he goes off of flanked, he goes off of hobble fumbling, His offense gets up there too. Hopefully can punch through an elite, but not too sure about it. And you know, not every experiment can go well. I mean, he certainly could be used without... oh, this is interesting. Oh, I should switch him to the elite. Oh dear. This would be a good case for him to have the elite, but... Fleet Feet might activate. Yeah, if he had the elite ISO... Oh, there we go. Fleet Feet activated. Wow, Spitfire's being intelligent this time. She's spreading the love. Spitfire's had some bad AI this season with trying to Vixen and doing AoE and whatnot. Well, it unfortunately looks like I need to get into the suit early to save my agent's life. Which will be good for Thing, because now Thing can tank and go offensive at the same time. Let's see. She's ethereal, that's interesting. Oh, these guys actually can be debuffed. They're not running... Yep. I like it when these teams are not running any protection. And now, this will be a quick action. Where is Spitfire's turn? It's not even listing her. It's like she knows she's gonna get force walled. I think he got stunned. Oh, no. It sounded like he got stunned for a moment. Nice. Okay. So this one's a little bit more fun than the last one, but then again, we're not seeing too many of these teams right now. And it would have been a way different match had I had Elite on him. Unfortunately, as you can see, Hobble does not work on Spitfire. Every follow-up available that the guy could do, he did. That's crazy. That's... Why was she able to walk through one of them, but not another? That's really strange. That is odd. I mean, she should have been locked out. My suit is gaining lots of extra turns here for some reason. Nice hit from Invisible Woman. 2 good hits from Invisible Woman. Now, unfortunately, Spitfire is still behind the cage, I think. Yep, she's still behind the cage. Nothing I can do here. But, if I still have the Prism's glow, this will bump his attack up even though I miss. She's straining out pretty bad. Couldn't penetrate the shield. And she just keeps straining out. I'm gonna go with this because we're gonna get toe-to-toe out of it, which is gonna be good for Thing. Quick action. Now, let's see if she has... Yeah, she has that hobbled. She's walking right through the anti-stealth, but then that happens. And then that happens. Alright, so these guys are 1 for 1. They are 0 for 1 against a very common meta, and they're 1 and 0 against a semi-common meta. We'll do one more for the tiebreaker. And hopefully I actually get to use the Sextant this time. Oh, I think I've heard about that Agent Nova guy. I think I've heard some people talking about that guy lately. I'm sure there's probably dozens of Agent Novas, but I wonder. Okay. No Fiza, which is good for us. But they do have a Psyche Operator, which is, of course, super annoying. Now, if I can get 2 rounds of the Lunacy, we're going to be sitting pretty here. Hopefully we get a level 1 out of... Good. That's fine. Interesting. Odd. Odd to be running the Rapier with a Toxic Agent in this setup. But okay. Hopefully this doesn't cower, which I don't think it does. I don't think the defensive ones typically do. There we go. Alright. Way to go, Thing. Now this is a ground attack, so Kurth isn't going to do anything with it. Which is kind of a shame. I could go with the Erupting ISO, but in all honesty, the slowed and the hobbled and the fumbling and everything I like a little bit better. But again, I mean, that's pretty cool that there's some tweak room for you there. Alright, now nobody's stealthy. And I'm gonna get this on us. Nice heal, nice shield. Hold it off getting in the suit right now. Figures, but Thing, if you notice, Thing has 17 on his buffs. And he countered it. Which is absolutely awesome. So she's now got flanked. Another Fear Me? What's with that? Okay, that's good. Alright, I like how this one's going so far. Since she's flanked, may as well go for it. I could have led with the stun. I actually should have gone with the stun, except she likes to avoid ranged attacks, so that was a little bit better. Alright. This is the last round that my agent's not going to be in the suit over here. So we're going to get this final shot out of the lunacy. I don't really care about transcranial stimulators when they come from people that aren't bruiser agents. We're gonna hop in the suit. Buff us up. Nice. And a random force field application over there. That was a little strange. So, I mean, look at Thing. He's all set up. I mean, he's full health. I don't have to worry about the fumbling anymore. Well, I mean, the fumbling would be good, but I don't have to worry about the hobble, so just punch that agent out. Now that time, she probably did that because she's pinned behind the wall. However, that other one that she did was a little weird. This applies disadvantage, so if it hits, we're good. Well, no more counters from Cloak and Dagger. And that's a free application of flanked over there. Reapply this. Ooh, right through back for more. Alright, well, the wall is up, but I'm going to attack anyway because of the prism, which may not have fallen off yet. Has it fallen off yet? I think it has. Still behind the wall. Maybe she's been reapplying the runes because... Wait, where are them? Where are the runes? That's why she's been doing it. The runes don't seem to be on me. She's still in the cage, though. Alright, she should be out of the cage. Alright, she's definitely out of the cage now. Good. Good God, get wrecked. Alright, well, there you go, guys. There's Can We Make Thing Great Again? The answer is... maybe? I think potentially it needs to go into the blender a little bit and maybe have Invisible Woman come out and have Ronin come in and have Ronin set up Thing. But some key things that I don't think you should change. I think the prism, if you have it, is a definite. Thing takes to the prism, you know, extremely well. Do you need a Visible Woman and the shield? Probably not. I think the Tactician suit is a definite must. Because of what it does to what it does to Thing, where you can use his tanking as a quick action so that even if he doesn't get attacked, he can still do something else. And if you are running that fumbling and hobbled ISO over there for the ground attacks, yeah, that's pretty good for him. If you want to run Erupting, then I really think you need to run the Generalist suit. Or, you know, maybe even like Knight America. Somebody who can, you know, like, well, Knight America wouldn't be that great for him, but it's plausible. I would think that it is quite plausible to do it. And I think I will leave this in over the Scroll of Rune and Maroth and try it. And let me get my tea back here. So, there's Can We Make Thing Great Again. On a scale of 1 to 10, give it about a 7.5 to an 8. I think it's possible. And I think if you don't want to strictly adhere to being Fantastic Four members, you certainly have some things that you could do. I think Ronan would be really good for him, definitely. And I also think Kurth would work out pretty well by limiting offensive damage coming in, which make him tank even longer. But I really think you need to get it to the point where you should be able to see stealth or counter stealth and everything. If you've got the lunacy, if you've got hobbled and everything like that, I think that's a really big key. Fleet Feet, don't even bother. Fleet Feet really isn't getting it done unless he gets hit in the first round before he activates his Stonewall. But, you know, it's possible. Hey, if you're, you know, in Diamond, Gold, low Vibranium and everything, and you want something relatively solid, and you're not dealing with a whole lot of Physas, you may want to look into this team. I mean, not everything has to be a rank 2000 setup. So, there you go, guys. If you like it, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, and let's talk about it in the comments below. See you, everybody.